What is up, everyone, and welcome to the first part of our two-part series where we break down all the first-round NBA playoff series matchups in both the Eastern and Western Conference. Today, we're going to start with the Eastern Conference. We got 3 games for you as we're still waiting to see who the Pistons play in round one after the final Eastern play-in game on Friday. We got some fun segments for you we think you're going to love, like X Factors, storylines, a watchability rating, and a future bet you can place early in the series to cash at the end of the series. So let's get into it. Cody, which game are you starting us off with?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. We're really excited for the NBA playoffs. I'm going to start with the Cavs versus Raptors. Some of the reasoning behind our watchability score includes star power and matchups, competitiveness, storylines, any historical context if applicable there, and then pace and style. So I'm starting with the Cavs versus the Raptors here. Thomas is not as big of a fan of this series, but I kind of am. It's still a low score in the grand scheme of things. I gave it a 6.7 out of 10. The reasoning, good star power on both sides. Mitchell and Harden, Evan Mobley, former DPOY, Jared Allen, very good player as well. And then on the other side, you got Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, plenty of good players who maybe had a little bit of an underwhelming season. I don't even know if you can consider it an underwhelming season for the Raptors. I think it was a pretty strong season for them, but this is just a bad matchup. I think the Cavs are heavily favored. Most of Vegas thinks that, the Cavs can win in 5. I think it can maybe go to 6. I would love to see it go to 7. I just like both of these teams' constructed rosters, just big physical players, lots of talent, right? A lot of people can guard a lot of positions on the floor. In terms of the stakes, not very high. Everybody thinks the Cavs are going to win. I think it'll be rather competitive. Maybe during the start of most games, I gave it a 7 score out of 10 for that. I think it'll be pretty close by half, and then maybe the Cavs make adjustments and kind of just become the favorites as most people think they will be. There's no historical context for me here. Toronto's actually won all 3 matchups this year against the Cavs. However, none of those were including James Harden, who added a complete dynamic factor to this team once he joined the Cavs. I mean, they were kind of falling apart. I think a lot of Cavs fans were panicking a little bit at how the team was looking, how they were operating before they ended up getting James Harden. And that fit has been amazing. He's made Jared Allen, Evan Mobley look like superstars on offense with just all the lobs in the pick and pop game. And Donovan Mitchell's role's diminished a little bit, but I think he'll obviously come back to play and be full strength and his normal self in the playoffs. So the pace and style, I really like it. I think it's going to be up tempo, physical for sure. There's a bunch of 6'8" wings on the Raptors, and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen aren't afraid of anybody down low. So I think that'll be really fun. And yeah, so that's my final score. I gave it a 6.7 out of 10 for the watchability. Now, moving on to the next portion is our X Factor. This one was really difficult just because I think there is so many names to talk about in this series, but I'm giving it to Evan Mobley. Really like him in this series. I think the matchup is difficult for him because the Raptors don't have a true center. So they are able to drag him out to the 3-point line. They're able to get him on mismatches, etc. But he is a former defensive player of the year. Let's not forget how dominant Evan Mobley can be down low in the paint, both offensively and defensively. It's something that I'm extremely excited to see because I think there's going to be tons of guard play, right? Emmanuel Quickly, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram against Harden, and Donovan Mitchell. They're all going to be out in the wings, taking their shots, doing whatever. And I think the misses, the putbacks, the screens, kind of the dirty work is going to be something that plays a big factor in this series. So I'm giving the X factor for this series to Evan Mobley. And finally, to end us off, I have a play to look out for. This one was also a little bit difficult as well. This kind of coincides with my Evan Mobley pick. We're looking for big man props. So we're looking for Evan Mobley double doubles or Jared Allen double doubles because there's going to be a lot of easy putback opportunities, a lot of run and gun, kind of handoff dunks. Hopefully not a lot of missed shots, but in the first game or two, as they start to get acclimated to each other, they might have a couple of missed shots. So that's something I really liked. I know most people would want to trend towards a Harden or a Mitchell play or something along those lines. And I think that's exactly why I chose the kind of opposite structure for this one.
Yeah, not nearly as high on that series as you are, but a 6.7 is a very reasonable score, especially if you get 6 games. That's all you can really ask for in the first round. So let's move over to the Celtics versus 76ers. I gave this one a watchable rating of 6.1. Some of you might think that's a little bit high, but I think there's some things that this series can hang its hat on. Got decent star power. We got Maxey, Edgecombe, George on one side, and Tatum and Brown on the other. This is also a historic meeting between these two franchises. This is the 23rd series between them in the playoffs, which is the most by any two teams. I don't think this will be very competitive, which does drive the score down a little bit, but the storylines are very unique. We got Embiid possibly returning. When will he return? How long do the 76ers need to keep afloat before he can come back? I think it might be towards 6 or 7 games, which I'm not quite sure they can do. Second storyline, how is Tatum going to look with the physicality of the playoffs? Right? He looked good in the regular season, but we know how the regular season can get. And then also, it's going to be great fun to watch Edgecombe in his first playoff series. The Rook looked unfazed in the playing game. He looked locked in, dialed in. Can he live up to that hype over the course of 4 to 5 games? And the biggest storyline that I'm looking out for is the dynamic between Tatum and Brown. Will Tatum truly take a backseat to Brown? Is this Browns team as Tatum has admitted to? Or when it comes down to crunch time and Brown makes a mistake late or can't hit the game winning shot, do the tables turn and Tatum tries to take over? How will Brown feel about that? I think that's something the Celtics really need to work out in this series early on. Don't think the 76ers are going to win a lot of games, but I do think keep a couple games close. So I know we'll have a few of those moments. And if the Celtics can figure that out early, then they won't have trouble when they play the Knicks and possibly the Pistons and Cavs later on. So for my series bet, and this one I will admit I haven't placed yet. I'm not sure I'm going to place, but I want to give you guys something to think about. Maybe a little degenerate. I would consider the final series score being Celtics winning 4-1. You can get that plus 195. If you look back at the past few Celtics playoff series in the first round, they love to drop the second game. They blow out the team in the first game, and then for whatever reason at home, they drop the second game, then they go on to win the whole thing. I think that's what we see. I know Embiid has a possibility to coming back, but like I said earlier, they need to get to 6 or 7 for that truly to take place. And knowing Embiid's luck, even if he could come back earlier, something's probably going to fall from the sky and sever his toe.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I'm more interested to see what kind of firepower the Celtics come out with, right? Because this is going to be an easy series. Hopefully, Embiid comes back relatively soon and makes it just somewhat watchable. Low score for me as well, but do want to see how dominant the Celtics are and kind of what identity they choose to show in this first round of the playoffs. But I definitely think it's only going 4 or 5 max if they're lucky. For the final game in our Eastern Conference preview, we're going to Knicks versus Hawks, which is a very exciting series for me. I gave this a 9.1 out of 10 in the watchability score. The only reason it didn't rank higher is because we've never really had these two teams face off with this much magnitude before. In 2021, obviously Trae Young upset the Knicks in that crazy villain arc story, right, which was very awesome. But these teams are filled with star power. Brunson, Cat, Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is having a career year. Dyson Daniels is obviously always in the running for DPOY as a 3-2-1, guard anybody on the court, really. The stakes, I think this is pretty important for both sides, right? The Hawks are now ascending into the next wave of their franchise. No more Trae Young. They're actually playing way better without him. You're kind of letting Jalen Johnson have the keys, and they have a lot of nice pieces around him to help support. But for the Knicks, this is almost like, do you really go far or do you just start blowing this up, right? Cat has been a storyline all year. You obviously want to keep Brunson at the helm, but there's just plenty to think about in terms of your big man, who to pair next to Brunson. And so that's something that I think has high stakes in this series. The competitiveness, I think, is going to be through the roof. I actually love this matchup. I think it's going to be high paced, high scoring, lots in run and gun. Hopefully, a lot of the games are down to the wire, just like the play-in games. I think us fans deserve that for sure. The storyline is obviously 2021 upset. That would happen a couple of years ago, but now we're looking at like Brunson's legacy, right? He's been such a good player for so long, but he hasn't really done anything in the playoffs. There's obviously always going to be pressure at Madison Square Garden, a great place to play NBA basketball. And for the Hawks, it's just their time to shine. This is their time to kind of get back to Eastern Conference championship talks and really compete with a team like the Celtics moving forward. No historical context, really. That's why I kind of gave this not a 10, right? There was no like, oh my God, this is must see basketball. This is two teams who, with their new roster, haven't really faced up in a difficult series like this yet. So, really excited for this. My X factor is a little bit strange. I think for most people, it's Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's had such a good year and he kills the Knicks. Every time that he plays, he always kills his points props. It's going to be him or Dyson Daniels on Jalen Brunson most of the series. I think his competitiveness as a defender is just something to look out for. He's everywhere. He makes the hustle plays. He knows when to pass it. He's just a good basketball player who's really outdone himself this year with his career year, and really excited to look at him for big stops on defense in crunch time, big buckets. I think he's averaging like 28 points a game against the Knicks, which is insane. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, if you thought about him 3 years ago, you would have thought I was joking, right? So really excited to see how he plays in this playoff matchup. And for my plays to watch, this one is more of just a generalization. We're taking the Knicks overs. I think that they're going to have to be in run and gun most of this series. Team total overs, maybe total overs for the entire series. I just think that the game is not going to slow down at all. These teams are going to just attack each other. They both play with amazing pace. They have spot up shooters on both sides. They have slashers on both sides that like to get easy buckets, steals. As a basketball fan, I would love this to go to 7. I'm not sure who I think is going to win. I want the Hawks to win. I think that they're probably the better put together team. Most people might disagree with me, but I just hope it's really competitive. I hope it goes to 7, but I think a lot of the overs will hit. And yeah, Thomas, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm taking the Knicks, but I think you're right. I think this comes down to 6 or 7. The Knicks can be down 20 in the fourth quarter, and Brunson's going to win it for them. I think been there, done that. But the Hawks are on the up and up. If they don't win this playoff series, which I'm not saying is a complete impossibility, they're going to have some full playoff series in the years to come. And I love what you said. It's going to be fast paced. It's going to be fun. A lot of scoring in this. A lot of competitive games. That's where the Knicks thrive, right? They want to come down to the wire. So this is a must watch series, in my opinion, too.
And there you have it, guys. That's our first preview for the Eastern Conference Playoff Series. We gave you 3 series as we're still waiting for the final decisions on Friday for the 4th one. If you guys are looking forward to the playoffs, let us know in the comments down below what series you're looking forward to, what you think about our bold takes. We will have a Western Conference preview coming out in a couple days as well. We're really excited for this. We're going to give you hopefully daily or every 2 to 3 days worth of content on our channels. So please look out for that. And thank you guys for watching.